to my home organic garden. It's another beautiful day today in the garden to connect with nature. And it's another beautiful season to grow organic vegetables. And I'm in the garden checking out my tomatoes that are growing too tall, guys. These tomatoes are indeterminate tomatoes. And if I let them keep growing at this rate, they will be hard for me to manage. So in order for me to be able to manage this tomato, I have to top these tomatoes. I have to start topping these tomatoes, guys. Yes. And I have tomatoes in the garden that I'll be picking today. Some tomatoes are ripening here in the garden, and I'll be harvesting my tomatoes today, few of them. And this will be my first tomato harvest for the season. But first of all, I want to go ahead and just start topping these tomato plants. Yes, I'll be topping these tomato plants today because they are growing way too tall for me. And if I let them keep growing too tall, it will be difficult for me to manage these tomatoes. So as you are looking at these tomatoes, they are producing less fruit. They are producing fruit, but not with the rate that I would love for them to produce more fruit. So they are concentrating their energy in growing too tall. And I don't want that. So I'm just going ahead to top this tomato. So what I'm doing is cutting the top of the main stem of the tomatoes out. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm cutting the top of the main tomatoes. I'm cutting out the heads out. So what I'm doing is I'm sending a signal to the tomato plant to concentrate its energy in setting up bushes to produce more tomato fruit, not just growing too tall. So that's what I'm doing right now. So my reason for doing this is to be able to for me to be able to manage these tomato plants, because indeterminate tomatoes can grow even up to 11 feet tall or even more. If they have room to grow, they will just keep growing and growing. And if I let them to grow at this rate, I won't be able to manage them, like I said. So I want to be able to manage these tomatoes. Also, if you let this tomato grow too tall, they can easily break when if the wind is too much, if it rains and the wind is too much, they can easily snap and break, So especially if they have started setting up fruits already, and now the wind came and knocked them out and they snap and break, I'll be losing lots of harvest if this happen, because it happened to me the last season that I let the indeterminate tomato just keep growing. And when we had lots of wind that came with rain, it break a lot of my tomato. Lots of my tomato, they snap and they break, and I lost a lot of harvest. So I decided that this season I'm not going to let that happen. Again, I'm just going to go ahead and start topping my indeterminate tomatoes so I don't go through the experience that I had last year. So that's why I'm topping these tomatoes, guys. So I want these tomatoes to concentrate their energy in setting up bushes to produce more tomato fruits, not just growing too tall. So that's what's going on in the garden today, guys. Like I said earlier, I will be picking out few tomatoes that are ripening from my organic garden today, and this will be my first tomato harvest for the season. I will also be harvesting few other vegetables that are ready for me to harvest today as well. So I'm topping these tomatoes, guys. So if you want to manage your indeterminate tomato, this is another way that you can do that. So this is what I'm doing right now, topping these tomatoes, cutting the head, the top of the tomato stem. So as you can see, you still have some there that are growing flowers that are ready to set out tomato fruit. So they get to stay. They will still produce the tomatoes, but the head, I'm cutting it off to slow down the growth. So this is German queen tomato. German queen tomato is indeterminate. They are known for their growth. They can grow way too tall if you let them, like I said. So I'm managing this tomato, guys. So I don't want them to grow way out of hand and not setting out bushes to produce more tomatoes for me. So that's what's going on in the garden, guys. If you are new to my channel, I appreciate you stopping by, and please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. And while you're at it, please hit the like button for me, hit the share button, like this video, and hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I upload new videos. And to you, my returning subscribers, you guys are amazing. You guys are awesome. I appreciate all your support. Thank you guys so much for stopping by, for watching. That's what's going on in the garden, guys. Do you like gardening like I do? I enjoy gardening, especially growing organic vegetables is one of the things that I enjoy doing. So if you've been following me, you will know that I encourage organic gardening because that's what I enjoy doing, like I said. So when I get to produce my own food, for me and my family, is exciting for me. So, and here are the few tomatoes today that I will be picking out. Here in this small garden raised bed, as you can see, I have lots of tomato plants. I enjoy crowd growing. I've made video on how I crowd grow my vegetables. You can check it out here in my channel. So I enjoy crowd growing my vegetables because when I crowd grow my vegetables, I get to harvest more vegetables. So because I have a small space in my backyard, so I try as much as I can to utilize every little space that I have to grow my own organic food. So here in this small garden raised bed, I have up to 25 plants of tomatoes. I have up to 25 tomato plants here. So I made a video on how you can crowd grow your tomato plants in a small space and also give your room for the garden to get some air. How you can encourage airflow into the garden and also produce more harvest. So I made a video on this, and on this side of my garden raised bed I also have more tomato plants. As you can see, about 26 plants here in this garden raised bed, up to 26 tomato plants. As you can see, these tomatoes are producing. Look at that. Lots of tomato clusters here. Beautiful, beautiful stuff, guys. Look at that. That's lots of tomato clusters. Yes, that's what's going on here in the garden. Yes, these tomatoes here are called, is indeterminate tomato. First of all, no, it's determinate tomato. Is determinate tomato, not indeterminate. These are determinate tomato. The Roma tomato is determinate. So which means once they start producing, they will run their course and they will wither and die, and that's it. So they grow to a certain height, they produce, and that's it. Unlike the indeterminate, which can keep growing and keep producing, the only time the indeterminate tomato withers and die is when the frost sets in. When the frost sets in, that's it for the indeterminate tomato. The cold will slow them down. They won't be able to grow and produce anymore. But if they have the room to grow and the weather is warm enough for them to keep growing and producing, they will just keep producing. They will just keep growing and producing. So that's the difference between the indeterminate and determinate. The determinate just produce once they run their course, and that's it, and they grow to a certain height. So that's what's going on. So this section of my garden is indeterminate tomato. That's what I have here. That's cherry tomato is indeterminate. You can see how tall they are growing. So like I said, I'm starting to top these tomatoes. This is a beef steak tomato. This tomato is very big. I wish you can see it in real life. The camera is not doing justice to these fruits. They are very, very big. So the indeterminate tomatoes that I have quite a lot of them all over the garden. So they are producing a lot and they have lots of tomato cluster. So like I said, I'll be topping them, I'll keep topping them, so they don't grow too tall and just concentrating the energy in growing too tall instead of setting out fruit. So I have to start topping these indeterminate tomatoes. So here I'm harvesting my first tomato for the season. Look at that, how beautiful these tomatoes are looking. These tomatoes are looking so gorgeous, guys. Look at that. They are looking so gorgeous. Madre mia. That's one of the benefits of growing your own organic vegetables, because everything I produce in my garden is all organic. I do not use chemical, I do not use pesticide, I do not use spray in my garden. Everything I grow here is organic vegetable. So you see that I'm also picking some of the tomato that are not fully ripened. I'll give it 2-3 days, they will soften. So I'm just going ahead to get them out because I have rabbits and squirrels that are running around here in my backyard. So I have to go ahead and get these tomatoes out because I don't want these rabbit and squirrels to start feasting on my tomatoes. So I don't want to lose my harvest, so I just gonna go ahead and get them out, even though some of them are not fully ripened. So I'll just pick them out. So from now on, every few days I'll be coming out here to pick tomatoes. So the more you pick them, in a few days time, more will be ripening and they'll be getting ready for me to harvest. By God's grace, I will be harvesting more tomatoes this season. So I'm excited about it. It's fun, fun, fun. So I'm grateful to God, to nature. For sure, for a very long time, I won't be buying tomatoes from the store. I'll be harvesting my own tomato right here from my backyard, my organic tomato. The taste is different, that's for sure. Organic tomato, when you eat it, you can tell the difference from the tomatoes you buy from the store. So that's you know, the good thing about organic farming. So here I have my squash. This is my first squash for the season as well that I'll be harvesting today. Look at how gorgeous this squash is looking, guys. Look, look. The camera is not doing these vegetables of justice at all because these squash, they are quite big. So I'll be harvesting this squash today. So this will be my first squash harvest for the season. So I kind of have varieties of vegetables in my garden. So that's the way I enjoy doing my own gardening. So you can also leave me a comment. Let me know how do you, plant your own vegetables in your gardening and what do you enjoy planting. So for me, I like varieties of vegetables in my garden. So here are my two big squash that I'll be harvesting today. So I'll be harvesting other vegetables also, few other vegetables. My purple cauliflower I'll be harvesting today as well. And I will also be harvesting my broccoli today. So I'll be picking out these few vegetables, the tomatoes, the squash, the purple cauliflower, and also broccoli. So see how big this squash is. So I will be enjoying squash this season. I'm excited. Harvest time is always exciting for me. So that's the power of nature. When you sow, in due time, you reap. So right now, I'm starting to reap what I sow. So grow some organic vegetables today, and let's eat organic vegetables. Let's eat healthy as much as we can. So that's what's going on, guys. Just wanted to share this with you so you guys can see what's going on in the garden, what I'm doing, their challenges, and how they are doing. And thank you all so much for watching. I really, really appreciate you all so much. And here is my purple color flower. That's what's going on. Thank you all for watching. I'll catch you on my next video. And bye for now.